It's time for a healthy soundbite. An important message for your health. It's all about sustainable living. It involves the 3 L's. L, listen, L, learn, and L, live healthy. Enjoy. Mrs. Shannon Jordan, a public health specialist, will speak to us on the topic HIV/AIDS, the basics. Mrs. Jordan.
HIV/AIDS, the basics. First, we'll talk just a little, share some information with you from a personal standpoint. But the key thing to know is that HIV, or human immunodeficiency virus, progresses through phases. If untreated or unmanaged, it progresses to AIDS. The good news is that through awareness and information sharing, we can offer support to community members, families, and friends to manage this disease. Because if you're well educated, you'll know that it's not a death sentence anymore. And all of the prior negative connotations and thoughts that folks had about HIV and AIDS, those can go away once we educate ourselves. So just as she said, the basics, you acquire HIV through sexual contact, sharing of needles, usually through drug use, and the mother-child relationship. So that could be during pregnancy, the birth process, and also during breastfeeding. You do not contract HIV through air and water, things like sweat, saliva, tears, regular closed mouth kissing, or through insects or pets. So some of those things might have been unknown or stereotypes or things that you just aren't sure about if you don't have experience with the disease from a personal standpoint. So I encourage you to try and educate yourself, because about 1.1 million people in this country are infected with HIV. 1 in 7 do not know that. So getting tested, knowing your status, encouraging others to do that as well is very important. Because once you know your status, you can feel confident if you are not HIV positive, but if you are, you can know that there are many ways to treat it. Probably one of our best examples is Magic Johnson. He's had the virus for decades, living a long, healthy life, and all of our friends and family and community members can do that as well, but you have to know your status. So I gave a big statistic, 1.1 million in the U.S. Prince George's County is one of the highest new infection rates in the state of Maryland, next to Baltimore. Just over the last decade, over 135% over a 10-year span. And most of that is in our young people in their 20s and 30s. But I just want you to know this is not a young people's disease. At the NIH, they have new programs for senior health, because folks are in relationships longer and later in life, and anyone can be affected through different ways. So there are many seniors now being affected by this disease. Just on a personal note, I know a gentleman, close family friend, he was a war veteran. He had gone out west, relocated, came back to the Midwest to live with his family in his elder years, and found out he was HIV positive. But because our people, we often like to keep our family in our homes, instead of being in senior living. The family was really concerned about that. But through education, they came to realize there's no risk of infection through regular familial contact, sharing of utensils and things that I mentioned earlier. You can't transmit it through saliva and sharing utensils and things like that. So we can offer support to our family members who are infected. And also, I mentioned the high rate of increase in PG County. Although most of those infections, as I mentioned, were under 40 years old, 63% of our current cases are in the age group over 40, and there are nearly 1,000 who are over 60 years old who have HIV in our county. So it affects all age groups, all people, but across the country, African Americans are one of the groups who are most adversely affected. In many other population groups, the rates are going down, and it is not for African Americans.
For more information about HIV and AIDS, go to sistervoices.org, where you will find quality resources on HIV and AIDS. That's sistervoices.org, SISTAHVOICES.org. Remember to take time for T by taking effective action for your spirit, mind, and physical health. Eat immune-boosting foods, drink water, and exercise. See you next time.